Hello everyone, this is going to be the first episode of my 2019 to 2020 NBA offseason breakdowns. If you see anything that you would like me to improve, change, or add into the next one, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. I would also like to inform everyone that there will be a transcript in the description linked to a Reddit URL. Feel free to use that if you would rather read than listen or watch. Let's get started. Alright, so this is going to be the Atlanta Hawks 2019 to 2020 NBA season preview. Last season, the Atlanta Hawks exceeded expectations with a group of young players that were one of the youngest rosters in the league. According to raw numbers at the start of the season, the Hawks were the 11th youngest team in the league. However, if player ages were weighted based on minutes played versus age, the Hawks would most likely be younger than that. The Hawks finished the 2018 to 2019 season with a record of 29-53, exceeding their predicted over-under of 23.5 set by Westgate Sportsbook in Las Vegas. The Hawks made two moves in the previous season, trading Tyler Dorsey for Shelvin Mack and also trading a 2020 second-round pick to the Celtics for Jabari Bird. Obviously, these are not big-time moves, but it is important to note where the roster stands currently. Now for the offseason moves. The Hawks made a few moves and signings this offseason while moving up in the draft and supplementing the roster with other large contracts. For trades, the Hawks traded Taurean Prince and a 2020 second-round pick to the Nets for Allen Crabbe, the 17th overall pick in the 2019 draft, and a lottery-protected 2020 first-round pick, which seems like it will convey from the Brooklyn Nets. Next, the Hawks swapped Kent Bazemore for the Trailblazers' Evan Turner. The Hawks traded the 8th, 17th, and 35th picks to the Pelicans for the 4th pick, the 57th pick, and Solomon Hill. The Hawks traded Miles Plumlee and Solomon Hill to the Grizzlies for Chandler Parsons, which helped the Hawks to open a roster spot. And the Hawks received Damian Jones and a 2026 second-round pick from the Golden State Warriors for Amari Spellman. In terms of additions and subtractions for the Atlanta Hawks, the Hawks drafted DeAndre Hunter with the 4th pick, Cam Reddish with the 10th pick, and Bruno Fernando with the 34th pick, and the Hawks also signed Jabari Parker this offseason. In terms of subtractions, the Hawks' previous player Dwayne Dedmon signed with the Kings, and the Hawks also waived Deontay Davis and Jalen Adams. Now it's time for the Atlanta Hawks depth chart for 2019-2020. This is still a little wonky because the final rosters are not out yet, but this is an idea of what you may end up seeing by the end of the offseason. At point guard, you would have Trae Young and Brandon Goodwin. At shooting guard, you would have Kevin Huerter, Allen Crabbe, and DeAndre Bembry. At small forward, you would have Evan Turner, Vince Carter, Chandler Parsons, and Cam Reddish. At power forward, you would have John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Ray Spalding, and Jabari Parker. And at center, you would have Alex Len, Damian Jones, and Bruno Fernando. In terms of personal opinions on whether I believe the Hawks will show improvement or decline, I believe that with the continual growth of the Hawks' young core and the addition of some key pieces, I would expect the Atlanta Hawks to improve in the 2019 to 2020 season. I especially believe that Trae Young's addition to the USA Select team will be a major confidence booster and one that will allow for him to really step into his role as a budding star. Projected over-under for the 2019-2020 season, according to Westgate Sportsbook in Las Vegas, the Hawks are projected to get 33.5 wins next season. With this season's dull outlook at the bottom of the East, as well as teams in the Western Conference looking as if they will load manage many of their star players, I would look for the Hawks to surpass this over-under. I believe they could get anywhere from 35 to 37 wins, and if everything goes right for them, even challenge for the 8th seed in the conference playoffs. With the Hawks dealing with multiple injuries and moves during the 2018 to 2019 season, it is difficult to predict effective lineups. In fact, only 8 lineups for the entire season played 50 or more minutes together last season. With this being said, I believe that by the end of the season, the Hawks will be starting games with Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Alex Len. I believe that Hunter will start over Reddish in the small forward spot as he seems to be a more versatile defender at the moment, and Cam Reddish will be brought on slowly due to his surgery in the core region. I would expect Evan Turner to be the 6th man off the bench to begin the season, and if Cam Reddish can come into his own, to take that spot as time comes. The Atlanta Hawks in the 2019-2020 season have a lot of interesting lineup opportunities. With the addition of new draft picks DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, the Hawks have become deadly in the future on the defensive side of the basketball. One of the main reasons these players were brought in was for their potential for being able to seamlessly switch and to cover up for the limitations of Trae Young. Expect to see lineups where Huerter guards the better of the two guards, which is a parallel to the Golden State Warriors where Klay Thompson will typically guard the better of the two guards, and Reddish and Hunter will switch from 2 to 5 when possible. If healthy, I would expect the lineup of Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, and John Collins to be one of the most popular lineups used this season for the Hawks. This young group has the ability to spread the floor, switch on defense, and get out in transition. Another overlooked factor for this Hawks team is the ability to have multiple ball handlers in their secondary lineups. This, hopefully, means that the offense will not fall as much when Trae Young is not on the court. Last season, Trae Young displayed a 107 offensive rating, and other backup ball handlers had significantly lower numbers. For example, Jalen Adams had a 99 offensive rating and Tyler Dorsey had a 96 offensive rating. Replacing these players in some lineups with Evan Turner, who had a 105 offensive rating, and Jabari Parker, who had a 102 offensive rating, will be large improvements that should help the bench stay afloat when the starters are resting. As the media typically does, storylines will be generated for the Hawks' 2019 to 2020 season, just like normal. With young teams, most of the storylines will surround the development of their young players. However, the Hawks do have an interesting storyline with Vince Carter. Firstly, will Trae Young make the leap to be an all-star or even a borderline all-star this season? With so many of the East's top players heading to the Western Conference, some players who are not putting up enormous statistics will have the opportunity to make the All-Star game this season. If the Hawks show improvement by All-Star break next season, look for Young to get All-Star consideration, especially if his averages of 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists improve or become more efficient. This is supposed to be Vince Carter's last season. Will he finally retire? Look for Carter to surpass Carmelo Anthony, Alex English, and possibly Kevin Garnett this season in all-time points, which could bring him up to 17th all-time in the all-time scoring list. Lastly, watch for the recovery of Cam Reddish, who is having core surgery this offseason. As one of the top 3 prospects in his high school class, he has shown immense promise and will hopefully be able to completely recover and showcase his talents at the NBA level for the Hawks, improving his shooting percentages from the abysmal level that they were in college at Duke. For the 2019 to 2020 season, the Atlanta Hawks have a salary cap figure of $107.9 million out of a $109 million salary cap. Under contract for the 2021 season, the Hawks have $36 million in allocated money and $16 million allocated for 2022. This means that the Hawks should have max cap space in both of the next 2 off seasons, in which they could dramatically improve their team. Disregarding protections, the Hawks also have up to 3 first-round picks and 1 second-round pick in the 2020 draft. Furthermore, in 2021, the Hawks have 1 first-round pick and 0 second-round picks. The Hawks have up to 2 first-round picks and 1 second-round pick in 2022, and the Hawks have 1 first-round pick and up to 4 second-round picks in 2023. Look for the Hawks to try and add assets by trading one of their players on expiring deals, for example, Evan Turner or Allen Crabbe, to contenders for current or future first-round picks.